Man, I know CNN got to be sick right now because Trump's winning streak, it's getting undeniable, and they do not know what to do about it. Let's get into it.
We're just minutes away from the closing bell on Wall Street, and the S&P 500 closed yesterday on the cusp of a record high. Right now, kind of flatlining, down just a teensy-weensy bit. CNN's Vanessa Yurkevich joins us now with more. Vanessa, this is really impressive given where the market was not that long ago.
Yeah, really a remarkable story on Wall Street. We've been watching the S&P very closely all day as it has been flirting with a new record, the last one set back in February. But it is remarkable because at the low of the S&P, it had shed $9.8 trillion in April, almost entering bear market territory. And it's nearly now recovered all of its losses. And just look at the markets. You see the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ on your screen. That dramatic V-shaped drop and then recovery. I was talking to a chief investment strategist, Sam Stovall of CFRA, who told me that usually it takes about 4 months for markets to enter the low and then another 4 months for a recovery to get back to even. That happened in half the time. So it really is remarkable. And essentially investors, what they have seen is that after the 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs and after the tariff rates on China were reduced from 145% to 30%, they really believe that the fear of a recession was taken off the table and that maybe some of these tariffs had more bark than bite. Also, Boris, just recently, the conflict in the Middle East between Iran and Israel. Well, what happened over the weekend was that the U.S. took out nuclear sites in Iran. And so Wall Street woke up Monday morning and they were relieved. Investors were relieved. So you saw a little bit of a relief rally happening today. But we're watching down to the last minute to see if the S&P will hit a new record today, Boris.
Yep, we're going to stop it right there. Y'all remember, this is the same media that was screaming recession, depression, economic collapse. Trump tariffs would destroy the economy. Yeah, y'all remember all that. So explain this. Stock market, record high. The same market that they said is ruined, or he ruined, I'm sorry. It's booming, actually. You know what I mean? Your boy is getting in the stocks, by the way. You notice how quiet they get when it's good news about Trump? Y'all see that? This is win number one, but it ain't the last, y'all. I'm telling you, it gets a lot worse for them.
The mission was carried out with stealth and with precision. There were no American casualties. And while Congress is divided after receiving briefings on the extent of the damage, I'm sure that we've derailed Iran's nuclear program, at least temporarily. And there's some valuable deterrent effect for America's adversaries who witnessed last week's exercise. Then, last Tuesday, President Trump left the White House en route to Europe. At the time, there was a question as to whether Israel and Iran would honor a ceasefire. That caused the president to offer the most unfiltered, non-controversial, direct words that I can recall anybody ever saying about the Middle East.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Cut to The Hague, where he arrived for NATO meetings and was able to wrangle an agreement from our allies to more than double their defense spending target from 2% of gross domestic product to 5% by 2035. Also, while at NATO, in a press availability, he did something rare for Trump and I found rewarding. He showed empathy. It came in an exchange with a Ukrainian journalist who said that her husband was a soldier. She asked whether the U.S. would supply her country with Patriot missiles.
Now, are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw, actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He's
there now. They do want to have the anti-missile missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available. I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you. So say hello to your husband, okay?
Also in that presser, he was more reflective and respectful than usual of our allies.
They want to protect.
CNN is hating reporting on this.
Their country, and they need the United States. And without the United States, it's not going to be the same. And I left here differently. I left here saying that These people really love their countries. It's not a ripoff, and we're here to help them protect their country.
Back at home, Trump claimed that he's reached a trade deal with China and soon expects the same with India. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick told Bloomberg that the deal was signed earlier this week. China's Commerce Ministry said Friday the two sides had further confirmed the details of the framework. Of course, Trump's initial imposition of tariffs wreaked havoc on American markets back in the spring. But now the markets have rebounded and grown. The S&P 500, NASDAQ hit record highs just yesterday. And it's not just the stock market. Inflation, the great economic fear of recent times, seems to be tamed. The rate is now reported at 2.4%, down from a high of 7% just 4 years ago. Meanwhile, blue-collar workers have seen real wage growth of 1.7% in Trump's first 5 months. This is the largest such increase in nearly 3 generations. Notwithstanding its impact on our national debt, there's also hope among some that Trump's big, beautiful bill will give further financial relief to blue-collar workers, as well as create incentives to build more factories in the U.S. Some already see this happening. For instance, General Electric has just announced that it'll invest almost $500 million in moving production of washing machines from China to Kentucky.
Y'all see, Trump is just winning.
And then there's the border. Crossings have slowed to a trickle. According to CBP's May update, Southwest border encounters have fallen to about 282 a day, a drop of 93% from last year and the lowest since the early 1960s. Perhaps the loudest cheering for those border numbers is coming from America's Latino community, which might initially sound counterintuitive. On Thursday, Pew Research released an enormous data analysis of the 2024 election, which contained several surprises. High on that list, President Trump won a bigger percentage of the Latino vote than previously believed. Hillary Clinton had a 38% lead over Trump among Hispanics in 2016. Joe Biden beat Trump in this demo by 25 percentage points. Kamala Harris's margin among these same voters over Trump, just 3 points. Even more surprising, perhaps, Pew Research concludes that if everyone had voted in 2024, contrary to the widely held belief that higher turnout helps Democrats, Trump would still have won. The data show 44% of non-voters said that they would have gone for Trump compared to 40% of non-voters who would have gone for Harris. So if more had voted, his margin would have grown. Yesterday came a huge decision from the Supreme Court. The High Court declared that federal district judges exceeded their authority when issuing nationwide injunctions against Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. This will, of course, strengthen executive power both for Trump and for his successors. And finally, a Democratic socialist just won the nomination for mayor of New York City. And perhaps you're wondering, well, how does that affect Trump? It gives him the perfect foil, someone to play off in future political battles. This morning's New York Post references campaign literature for Zohran Mamdani, which advocates for increased taxation for, quote, richer and whiter neighborhoods. Just imagine what Trump will do with that. Winning became a punchline that Trump's opponents used to lampoon him in his first administration.
He hated that.
He was a political novice then, surrounded by a team with which he was unfamiliar, and he was probably as surprised as the rest of us were that he won the election. This time is different. This time he came with a plan and a cabinet with senior advisors comprised of loyalists all well known to the president. And recently he's exhibited a more layered approach to governing on both the domestic and international front, no longer solely guided by winning each day's news cycle. By any objective measure, President Trump has his opponents on the run.
Bruh, listen to that list. Y'all heard that? Military wins, policy wins. Man, I think you said NATO folding to his demands. You got inflation down, gas down, border locked. You got CNN admitted on top of it. Oh, my God. He was sitting there reporting it like it was just a normal day for him. But you can see the pain in his face, man. It was burning him up on the inside. And you want to know why they hate this, man? Because everything they told you would fail worked. That's why. Plain and simple. But CNN tries to play it all cool and smooth, you know what I mean? Over at MSNBC, or as I like to call them at MSNBS, the panic goes from quiet to straight delusional. Y'all listen to this nonsense.
Walk me through why you see this ruling as deeply dangerous, not for people who are birthright citizens, but much more broadly for every American.
Imagine Donald Trump wants to do something illegal to you, Ali Velshi. Imagine that he wants to murder you. Imagine that he and Stephen Miller release an entire policy explaining about how they can murder Canadian journalists who are working in America because they're taking the jobs from real American journalists, right? So he's going to murder you. So you, Ali Velshi, you go to court. You go to court in the Southern District of New York and you say, like, I don't think this murder thing is constitutional. It's clearly illegal. It's clearly constitutional. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and Stephen Miller shouldn't be able to have a plan to murder me. And the court says, you're right, Ali Velshi. There's no way Donald Trump is allowed to murder you. We're going to have an injunction. We're going to stay the executive order saying that he's going to murder Canadian journalists. And so you're like, great, awesome. And you go home. And then Pat Kiernan shows up and he's like, what about me? I'm also a Canadian. Ashley Banfield shows up. She's, I'm also a Canadian. What about me? And the court's, well, I can't help you because Ali Velshi is the one who's sued. So Pat Kiernan, if you don't want to be murdered, you have to launch your entire own lawsuit in the Southern District of New York again to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't murder you. And while the Supreme Court is deciding who the Ali Velshi can't be murdered injunction applies to, guess what? Donald Trump starts murdering people. That is the upshot of yesterday's decision. Donald Trump has declared that he is going to do an unconstitutional thing. And various people have been able to secure the court's order that he cannot do the unconstitutional thing to them. And basically what the Supreme Court has said is that, well, you said something about Jimmy, but you didn't say anything about Consuela, so we're going to deport Consuela while the Supreme Court figures it out. That is what the court said. And
I appreciate it. And Pat and Ashley are going to appreciate the shout-outs on the show as well. But that makes it very clear that this is...
Bro, if y'all don't get this nutty Professor Murph neck, Ronald McDonald Elder looking. Y'all see how wild this is? They're not even pretending to be serious anymore. When they can't be facts, man, they start inventing scenarios. Like, what are we talking about right now? You lost the argument, so now Trump is gonna murder you? Yo, this is peak desperation. And this is the same playbook they always run with. Fear, 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 fear. You know what I mean? If you winning, they got to scare people out of paying attention to it. And when the media melts down like this, it don't stay in the studio. Nope, it spills straight into the streets. Look at this madness.
All I got to say is we're fucked. We're so fucked. Fuck the Constitution. We don't have a fucking Constitution anymore. Nope, fuck it. I mean, what the fuck? Fuck the fucking Supreme Court. Fuck Trump. Fuck all this. Fuck the United States of America. Fuck 1776. Fuck the 4th of July. Fuck all of it. Fuck whatever we even fucking fought for. Fuck all of this fucking shit. And fuck MAGA.
You know, ain't nobody in you. All right, let me get serious, y'all. Oh, yeah, man. This is what the left calls peaceful and tolerant, right? Bruh, look at this, man. This is modern day meltdown. I mean, you hate the country because your narrative collapsed. Notice when that side wins, it's progress. But when they lose, it's burn the country down. This is a toddler tantrum, and it's an embarrassment to say the least, right, man? You grown, you acting like this. But, you know, here's how reality strikes. This is when you know it's really bad. Even when our own people are done. Y'all, Kumo, y'all remember this?
How do you keep them from having the nuke? Impeach Trump is the opposite of having a better idea. You're killing your party. You're killing your party. And look, I hope it works out for you. I hope you guys splinter off and become, whatever you really are. because you're not a capitalist and you're not a Democrat. And, you know, you can say, well, what do you know? I was raised by a real one. I was raised by a real one. Go ahead and criticize Mario Cuomo. What's going to be your biggest insult? That he spawned me and Andrew? Is that going to be the best you have? Because you ain't shit compared to him. Not in terms of intelligence, not in terms of success, not in terms of pedigree, not in terms of philosophy, not in terms of mission, not in terms of eloquence, not in terms of charisma, not in terms of anything. Certainly not electability. You are killing your party because you are not a real one. Because you're doing what's good for you in a vacuum with your little social media following. You're no different than a pod bro. And you're killing your party. And Democrats better wake the fuck up and realize that you're better than this. Be with the 80, not the 20. Okay?
Bruh. Let that sink in for a little bit, all right? Chris Cuomo. Of all people. I mean, this ain't the first time, but he's throwing shots at his own party? Now you know it's cooked. I'm telling you. Look at what he's saying. He's basically calling out the far left for being fake. Of course, he was aiming this specifically at AOC, but yeah, for being more about clout and Twitter likes than actually helping anyone, the American people. He even knows this ain't what the party was supposed to be, and he's fed up. This right here, this is what collapse looked like from the inside. I'm trying to show y'all, man. I'm trying to put it all together for y'all real quick. Why ain't this clip queued up for me, huh? But you know what? The people been figured this out. Before we get into this clip, actually, let me show y'all this.
Well, it looks like Donald Trump just can't seem to stop winning. The man just ended another war. Another one. Like, this motherfucker's like the universal peace gatherer or some shit. Like, I don't know what's going on, but people around the world seem to want to listen to Donald Trump. The peace deal is between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. They've been fighting since 1996 or some shit. I might be even longer. But from what I see, it says since 1996, which is basically 30 years, which is way too fucking long. And they're finally coming to a peace agreement. And it was Donald Trump, of course, who they listened to come through a peace agreement. At some point, if you're on the left, if you're a Democrat, if you're a crazy liberal, you have to just take a step back and just look at what Donald Trump is doing and just go, okay, how is he able to keep doing this? Why do people keep listening to him? Because people love him around the world and they listen to what he has to say and they hold him at his word so that peace agreements can get done. Why do they keep doing it? How come no one listens to us and our side? Is it because of our ideas? Is that why? Yes, it is why.
Real talk.
Shout out to Donald Trump. God bless America.
Real talk. That's the energy right here. Because, bro, I mean, look around. You got folks who never supported Trump. Now sitting there like, hold up, man. Gas is down. The market is booming. You know what I'm saying? War's ending. The border locked. What exactly are we mad at again? And that's the real panic. Because once people start realizing the media been lying, the grip over, that spell over, that brainwashing over. It's a problem when the TDS get washed away. I'm telling y'all, when that get cured, And now, the moment CNN wishes never aired. This is the exact moment, the exact faces where the winning streak broke the entire narrative. Watch every single one of them squirm. Mostly just Abby. I don't know why I made that so dramatic. Look at me. I'm doing too much.
Donald Trump just going crazy in terms of executive orders. He can issue an executive order today and will likely. He said so today. And he knows that the lower courts cannot carte blanche stop him, which hugely increases the power of the executive.
Yeah, look, this is a great week for him, not just because of this ruling, but earlier in the week, the Supreme Court handed him the ruling on being able to deport illegal immigrants to third-party countries, essentially. So he's on a little bit of a winning streak in the courts right now. And you know what a lot of Republicans are saying is, nope, we're not tired of winning yet. This happened. The stock market's at a record high. He brokered the ceasefire in the 12-day war. Peace broke out between Rwanda and the Congo. I mean, gas prices are at a 4-year low for the summer. I mean, win after win after win. And this particular one is the most important because these individual judges had been, I think, unfairly stopping the president from governing. He won the election. They didn't. We don't have 600 presidents. We have one president. And now he's going to be able to actually govern. And so you could make an argument that this week or the last 2 weeks, the best week or 2 weeks of his entire presidency.
Look at their faces, man. Just look at them. They miserable, sick, dying inside because they know they can't even argue it. They can't spin it. They can't hide it. They just sitting there forced to listen to a Republican list facts. After fact, after fact. On their own network. Bro, this is what Panic on Camera looks like. This ain't even news anymore. This is a funeral. Cartier family posted up under this. Scott Jennings literally keeps the lights on. Quite literally. And that right there, man, is exactly why CNN, MSNBC, and the whole establishment is panicking. Stock market, booming. Gas prices, booming. In the last 4 years, lowest in 4 years. The border locked. Yeah, we're in a pretty good, we're in a good space. Now they trying to spin it. They real desperate because no matter how hard they try, no matter what they do, no matter what they cry about, the winning is undeniable. All right, and they can't do nothing about it. Y'all drop y'all thoughts below. Be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.